today is week 4 of the BLA yoga therapy.
Hooray!
I had a procedure done yesterday, which is it was on my right breast, and so I needed to not do a more intense yoga session. So we decided that it would be more fun.
Exploratory.
Maybe not more fun, but we're doing. You explain what we did.
Yeah, so we just finished a bodywork session where I was exploring Wendy's fascia and addressing all that we have talked about and we are healing and we are after through myofascial bodywork. So touch. And it's really nice to be able to drop in and feel into the tissue. What we are doing also with Wendy's homework is that we are building her a homework routine or a home practice. So during the last 2 weeks I had given her 2 different blocks of yoga sequences to do with the BLA. And today we added one more piece which we started with before the bodywork session. So Wendy was just sitting up straight with cross-legged position. Why don't we show it to the viewers? Where is your BLA?
Over there.
Where we get her BLA. Yeah, so we did this to tune her into her body and ground her. Because if you remember, we are working on getting Wendy into her body, and not just that, to help her feel and sense and identify what feels good, but also for her to be able to uptake. So today we practice her uptaking touch and using this work with the BLA, breathing into her pelvis, exhale, closing the BLA and pulling the pelvic floor muscles up to teach her body and give her body the message that you need to be present right now, but not in a threatening way, but in a very relaxed way. Were you able to do that?
Yes, yeah. And actually I had noticed that just in my breathing in general, I've been wanting to, be more conscious, more mindful of my breathing. And so using the BLA just instantly makes me more mindful because every time I've ever used the BLA, I've been mindful, right? So it automatically puts me into that.
In your body?
In my body, yeah.
Yeah, because we need that signals for the body. Wendy was talking about how we need 63 times repetition to rewire the body into a new habit. So if you're out there and you're doing your exercises and you're like, why am I not evolving, or why is it so hard, you need to just keep going and repeating to rewire.
Yeah.
So another exciting thing that I was doing for Wendy is addressing her jaw and her neck. We did a lot of work and I was actually thinking about maybe we should spend more time on your jaw and the neck and helping her bite to realign with the myofascial work in the jaw, inside her mouth. And then we also use the BLA in that craniosacral myofascial release of I was basically teaching her jaw to go back in place and then the other side to release and just like give out and not give in, but yes, giving in.
Surrender.
Yeah, giving up the habitual patterning. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, as I had mentioned before, I was in a car accident, so I definitely trained my jaw to look better, whether or not it was actually what it was the correct way of doing it. So I definitely have, I'm constantly trying to hold my jaw in positions that probably are not the best.
Yeah, so again, you need to retrain the patterns and you need, a little help to guide you towards your alignment. The other area we were working on is the pelvic floor. So this is a highly experiential work we do together, and doing this work is really for therapeutic reasons and to be able to make a connection. It's a very geeky exploration working internally with Wendy's pelvic floor.
Yes.
So this is a very important area where we don't get to address or be addressed properly in our westernized cultures. In our healthcare, definitely not. In our postpartum care, definitely not. Plus, we are making new pathways and new discoveries between the jaw, the neck, and the pelvis. So what we were experimenting with, and it was with Wendy's full consent. So this was a very consented work of how her pelvic floor muscle tones or off tones are connected with the jaw, and the BLA. Is the BLA able to help her do what it's been doing to help her getting into her body and turn on and off compensation patterns. So what was your experience with that?
So, definitely when we were doing the pelvic work and I was trying to isolate my muscles in my pelvic region, there was one area in particular that was really difficult, and that's when we brought in the BLA to see if it would help assist. And immediately when I put the BLA in, I could feel my that area actually activate. When I took the BLA out and tried again, it was really hard to isolate those muscles again and actually contract them the way they needed to be contracted. Put the BLA back in, and then I was able to do it. Tried it on the left, which was also a little bit weaker too, and it was the same thing. And so each time I was trying, but with the BLA, I actually could feel that, I don't know how to just say it, just like kicks in. And
Like the muscle tone that I was feeling on the other end was really like more like like firm, like like this when she was using the BLA. And the other interesting thing, we found scar tissue and worked with scar tissue with the castor oil, and it's a whole other like hour-long lecture. Scar tissue work.
Yeah.
Anyways, we did a lot today.
Yeah, we did.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm actually kind of blown away by the scar tissue work, because it was very interesting, because she was in one area and she's like, where do you feel this? And she was on the left and I completely felt it on the right. I was like, no, you're, and she's like, no, I'm on the left. I'm like, no, you're on the right. Like it was very very interesting. And then she moved over a little bit and I was like, oh, you are on the left. And so it's just realizing that the signals my body was giving me are not accurate was kind of interesting, because how many other, or maybe not accurate, but I interpret them differently. So, or maybe I am feeling sensation on the right, even though the tissue's on the left. I don't know. It was just realizing I do need to be more in tune with my body and listen to the messages it's giving.
And that's what we do here.
That's true.
Yeah, so you got your homework, Wendy.
Yes.
You will be doing your home practice. Wendy asked for more action with the BLA, and that's given to her now with that extra added work with just the first part. That's your pranayama practice, by the way. Building a yoga sequence starts with pranayama, warming up the body, and then I gave her some really kick-ass abdominals, and combined with a really kick-ass like seated chair position and shoulder work to release her shoulders and bring her pelvic core coherency into action.
Yay! Well, thank you.
See you guys next week.